Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. In today's podcast video, we are going to be talking about times to never contact your twin flame. Now, if you have contacted your twin flame when you are in one of these kinds of headspaces or states of mind, don't worry because there is nothing going wrong here. When I say to never contact your twin flame when you're feeling or thinking in these kinds of ways, I'm of course not saying that in doing so, if you do choose to contact your twin flame at these times, that you would be somehow ruining or messing up the connection in some way, because the knowing we really need to collectively stabilize within ourselves is the knowing that nothing we say or do could truly ruin or mess up the journey entirely or anything like that. Because we are here to experience it, not to get it perfectly right. If there was even a way to do that, this is a path that is meant to be experienced, that is meant to be unfolded to us, which is so often why sometimes we feel as though we're walking in the dark, because we are usually only given the next step without being able to see the full path. So do be gentle with yourself as we go through these points. I really just want to share this knowledge and information so you can empower yourself when you are in one of these kinds of headspaces that can be detrimental to physical communication with your twin. You can make the conscious choice to shift your energy from within rather than seeking externally from your twin or from really anything else to attempt to shift what you're feeling within from the external plane. And I know that was a bit abstract, but I will be sharing a bit more on what I mean by that later on in this video. But first, I do want to introduce myself to those of you who are new here. So if you are new, then welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. Also, I wanted to share with you the most powerful sound therapy tool I recommend for you as twin flames if you are on a twin flame path, or really regardless of what you are trying to heal, attract, or manifest in your life. This tool will be very powerful for you to implement on a daily basis. And this is the use of subliminal affirmations tracks. I personally create and use subliminals myself every single day. I've been doing this for years, and since I started doing this, I began to see powerful shifts and changes in every area of my life. So now I am sharing my collection of subliminals with you through my website, soundandsoulful.com. So as you can see on the screen, on this website, I've created over 100 subliminals for literally every area of life, for mood shifts, for appearance, for love and relationships, for spirituality, and of course for twin flames specifically. I have an entire section of subliminals dedicated exclusively to the twin flame path. Now, when it comes to talking about twin flame communication, I most highly recommend my twin flame subliminal for opening communication between twins, because as I'll be speaking on later on, communication between twin flames takes place energetically first and dominantly. This means that before, during, And really at all points of communication with your twin in the physical, it's essential to have tools to clear your energy field so that the communication between you and the physical is clear as well. So I'll be leaving more information on my subliminal to open twin flame communication in the pinned comment and description box under this video for you to explore if you feel guided to do so. Now let's get right into, as we were speaking about there, how communication between twin flames is energetic first, which is really how these kind of so-called times to never communicate with your twin flame work. What they're based on is energetics. So the reason I say to never contact your twin flame during the 4 times I'm going to be sharing in this podcast is because each of these 4 examples represents a time in which you are experiencing some kind of a blockage in your energy. Now, if this is happening to you, know that you are absolutely not alone in this. There is nothing going wrong in this. And in fact, part of being a twin flame and awakening to this higher level of consciousness than most of humanity ever reaches is working through these triggers, through these blocks that are deeply stored in our energy field and specifically through our subconscious minds. And so as we are working through and releasing these triggers, these blocks, using our twin flame counterparts as our catalyst and our mirror through this process, kind of pushing this process of trigger release ahead, we will naturally find that there are moments where we do feel the intensity of the journey. We find ourselves at times feeling the fear or the anxiety or being in this kind of negative headspace. So I guess if I was going to sum up all of the following examples and illustrations of when to not contact your twin flame, you could really sum it up simply by saying, if you're feeling in a negative headspace about the journey, about the connection, and your desire to communicate with your twin is motivated from that space of feeling one of those more negative emotions, which is really just an indication of those negative vibrations blocking your pure core soul frequency in that moment, then I don't recommend contacting your twin again if that is the emotion driving, pushing, or motivating the communication you want to send out to them in the physical. And the reason I say this is because, as I mentioned earlier on, your twin flame, when you speak to them in the physical 3D world, whether it's over phone, over text message, or something you say to them in person, they are barely hearing the words that you are saying. And this is part of what makes this journey so high level, advanced, and complex, because twin flames don't really hear the words the other says, even though consciously we can say, okay, he or she said this, or they said that. We can remember the words they used. But what really gets across to us isn't the words. It is the energetics beneath the words. It is the energy driving the words. So what's really confusing, this is also how, by the way, as the divine feminine, at times your masculine can say something like, that would sound really cold or really hurtful on the surface to an outsider, but you feel something very contradictory behind the energy of his words that becomes very confusing. For example, the masculine could say something that to others would make it seem like he wanted to disconnect from you or from the journey, but you as the divine feminine could become very confused because what you feel is the admiration, the loving energy. So it becomes incredibly complicated trying to translate communication that happens in the physical between twins, because so much of that communication, in fact, the vast majority of communication is entirely non-physical, meaning it is energetic. Twin flames are constantly exchanging energy at the soul level. They always have been since the very origin points of their souls, because they are mere frequencies. They share the same core soul frequency. So by the law of attraction, which draws like things, and in this example, like frequencies together, closer in proximity to one another, twin flames, regardless of the space or time or distance between them, are pulled together at the soul level. They are always essentially attached and interconnected with one another energetically. So when we talk about communicating, making the choice to communicate with your twin in the physical, and I'm talking about communication all the way from being in a period of absolutely no contact separation for years, and then thinking about communicating, all the way up to being in a very strong physical reunion with your twin, but then having these moments of feeling doubt, feeling uncertainty, and then letting that doubt or uncertainty motivate negative communication or blocked kind of communication with your twin. Again, even in that reunion state, whenever we communicate, bring something up, start a conversation from this space motivated by fear or anxiety or one of the other negative emotions, indicating some kind of block within us, our twin will not respond to our words nearly as much as they will respond to the frequency behind the words, behind the communication, which in this case, the frequency here, when you are communicating in one of these four ways, is coming from a blocked place. So in order to effectively communicate with your twin when you're feeling one of these types of ways, would be to clear the blockage, to release the blockage first. You could use my subliminals for this in the twin flame section on my website, or you could use any other energy clearing tool that you personally resonate with. But it's essential to find a way to clear your energy first, shift your vibration to a happier feeling, a better feeling place, and then see how you are motivated to communicate from that clearer, more positive headspace. So I know I've been talking for a little while here, but I felt it was really important to lay some groundwork, to give some context here before we get into these 4 times to never contact or communicate with your twin flame. And the first is when this communication is motivated from a feeling of jealousy or kind of a paranoia involving your twin connecting with other people, looking at other people, or like this fear that your twin is interested romantically or otherwise in others. The reason I say to never communicate with your twin or to contact them in a space that's motivated from feelings of jealousy is because jealousy is one of the most misunderstood kinds of emotions. Often when we feel jealousy, it causes us to feel almost this kind of shame or embarrassment. We feel like we have to bury it or hide it because it's kind of one of those ugly words when you think about it, to be jealous. Like no one wants to be the jealous person or the jealous partner. And yet, especially in our day and age where we're constantly cross-comparing through social media and other forms of media, jealousy is really more rampant than ever. We're able to feel it more easy than ever. And yet most of us are very secretive or trying to kind of hide or bury these feelings of jealousy because they cause us also to feel a bit of embarrassment or shame. And I really want you to know that if you've struggled with these feelings of jealousy, there is no reason to be embarrassed by them or to feel shameful. In fact, all this jealousy is telling you is that you in that moment are disempowering yourself because you are looking at another human being and seeing them as inherently somehow better or more worthy or more beautiful or whatever the case is than yourself. You are giving your power away to this person and to this situation. And the thing about jealousy is, or these kind of paranoid feelings, when we feel them in connection with another person, they are very strongly motivating negative feelings. So we can get this almost irresistible urge to reach out and say something harsh to our twin or to the person, or just to kind of insert ourselves into their 3D experience because we are feeling this way. We are sitting with this very uncomfortable emotion of self-disempowerment, and we want to get rid of it. So very often the way that as children we are trained to get rid of our emotions is simply to vent them outward to others. But the problem within a twin flame connection is when it's such a highly energetically active connection, meaning you're constantly transferring energy, when we communicate from this jealous place to our twin flame, they respond to the energy they are feeling, which is us disempowering ourselves, our disempowerments, our energetic blockage expressed outward in this communication causes our twin to also feel the discomfort of the energetics behind that communication. So they may not respond at all. They won't respond the way that we think they should or that we want them to respond. But at the end of the day, it's because our true twin flame wants to see us thriving and empowered and fully self-confident in ourselves. So when they see us in this state of disempowerment, it's as uncomfortable for them as it is for us. And also on top of that, within twin flame connection, because this is a mirrored connection, your twin cannot give you what you need or what your mind thinks it needs. They can only give you what you are. And this is not to say twin flames can't have a loving, nurturing, caring, fully supportive relationship in the 3D, because they absolutely can. What I mean is, whenever you feel as though you're moving from this space of, I need to get something out of this other person so I can feel better, your twin flame connection will never be able to give you that, because they are really guiding you to go deeper, to look within yourself and to make that shift from the inside out, rather than seeking external validation for your own power that they are trying to reconnect you with on this soul level. The second time to never communicate with your twin flame is, and I guess this is a great lead-in because we were just speaking about external validation, whenever you are communicating with them because you are seeking some kind of specific form of external validation. You want them to tell you something specific or to say something specific that will somehow confirm or validate to you something that your soul already knows, but your ego is questioning. Very often, twin flames will feel this most strongly in connection with the conscious idea of twin flames or soul connections, meaning that when they are feeling such a powerful, intense soul bond, such a connectedness, there is this need from the ego to hear verbal confirmation from the other for everything they are feeling with this person within this soul bond, for that feeling of soul connectedness, that knowingness of this connection. They want that person to say it out loud, perhaps even when the divine timing isn't yet quite right, or when this person isn't yet healed or ready to the point of being able to open up and to say those things. Sometimes we can find ourselves wanting to almost kind of push that communication out of them so that we can get this confirmation to our ego, like, yes, I'm not going crazy. This person feels the connection too. But once again, our twin cannot meet these needs of the ego. It can only reflect. They can only reflect to us. So if we are projecting these communications, these points of contact with our twin from a space of our ego doubting the connection and wanting validation, of course, what our twin is only going to reflect to us or amplify for us are those feelings of doubt. And it's only by solidifying that knowing within ourselves, that knowing within our soul, that our twin actually will reflect that knowing and ultimately outwardly express it as well. But it has to happen naturally, meaning it has to start from within, not the other way around. The third time to never contact your twin flame is when you are contacting them because you are afraid of losing them. So you're afraid that they've lost interest in you. You're afraid that they don't care about you. Maybe there is a period of physical separation and you're afraid that they're never coming back. There's some kind of abandonment wound creating fear in your body. Perhaps you even feel this literally as a fight or flight response, as adrenaline, or that kind of stomach clenching feeling that is really coming from the sacral and solar plexus chakra centers. But regardless, whenever we try to reach out to grasp a hold of our twin flame metaphorically through contacting them, because we kind of have this feeling of desperation or neediness, this fear of, I just don't want to lose you, so I want to remind you of me, or I want to get some kind of verbal confirmation that I'm not losing you. Once again, we are actually stepping into this very strong push energy, and our twin only feels the push. They feel the fear. And this is actually one of the most common dynamics that perpetuates the pushing and pulling energy between twin flames that can be incredibly intense and that is so common. We've called it a stage and given it a label as the runner chaser. So finally, the fourth time to never contact your twin flame is when you are trying to make them see you, and I put make in quotation marks, or make them love you. Now, the thing is, your true twin flame always sees you in the sense that they are always aware of you, just as you are always aware of them. This is an equally reciprocated connection. And because of this mutual awareness, there is no way for them to escape the energetic presence of you, just like you can't escape the energetic presence of them, regardless of whatever circumstances you may perceive to be lying between you in the physical world. And in the same way, twin flames have a natural bond of love, true unconditional love for one another, because this unconditional love between twins is really coming from the fact that they are energetically interconnected. So by loving oneself, that is equivalent to expressing love to one's twin flame. So it's naturally a love without conditions. It is the only kind of soul connection that completely embodies and entirely inevitably embodies true unconditionally loving frequency to its full capacity. So your twin flame can't give or withdraw their love from you, although the ego sometimes fears that or perceives it this way. Your love for one another is steady, it's constant, it's in the exchanging of energy between you that's happening all the time. It's as natural as loving and reconnecting with yourself. And in fact, when you do love fully and reconnect fully with yourself, that is when your connection starts to open not just energetically, but in the physical manifested world in the most profound ways as well. So I really hope this video was helpful for you along your journey. I hope it provided you with some sense of clarity or guidance. Do keep in mind, I do channel twin flame readings every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that. Also, my subliminal to open twin flame communication will be in the pinned comment and description box under this video. This is a really powerful tool, especially if you are feeling one of these 4 ways to turn within yourself to uproot any blocks that are creating those negative feelings from the inside out, to radically shift your frequency, and then to naturally experience the unfolding of communication between yourself and your twin in the physical from that space of clarity. So I really recommend exploring that subliminal if you do feel guided to do so. Please subscribe to this channel to join our beautiful community here. We are all really supporting and uplifting one another along this journey, and I'm so grateful to you for being a co-creator here on this channel. Have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next podcast.